I would like to call the 2023-2024 organizational meeting of the Canastota Central School District to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fire exits are located behind you and to the side of the library. In the event of a fire, an alarm will sound. If this occurs, please move immediately in a calm and orderly manner to the nearest exit. It is important. Board of Education meetings are structured and efficient, so to allow the board to properly address the set agenda items in a civil and respectful manner. While New York State law does not require boards of education to have a public comment period, this Board of Education finds civil and respectful public input to be valuable and important. To promote this, the following structures have been put in place related to the public input portion of the agenda. First, public input will be at the end of the agenda. This allows the board to address all agenda items in a timely manner and does not discourage or unduly delay members of the public who are attending related to the agenda items if the meeting agenda is significantly delayed due to individuals speaking to the board about non-agenda items. Second, we will set a total time limit of 30 minutes for public input, with 20 minutes dedicated to agenda items and 10 minutes to non-agenda items. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. A request to make public comment sheet for those wishing to participate in public comment is located on the table upon walking into the meeting, and when completed, given to the board clerk. Additionally, you may contact the board clerk at 697-2025 to sign up for public comment in advance. Concerns about individual students or staff are not to be made at public comment. If you have such concerns, the board clerk or superintendent will provide you with how and to whom you should share your concerns. If a member of the public wishes to address the board, but the time allotment expires for public input, the person may write to the board by sending any comments to the board clerk, or they may sign up to speak at the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Finally, the Board of Education will listen to public comment, but not immediately respond to the speaker. This is so the board has time to fully review any questions or claims and respond as appropriate. Thank you. We will now do the oath of office for the superintendent, business manager, district clerk, and newly appointed board members. Mr. Becerra, would you please read your oath aloud?
You want me to stand?
I don't think you need to stand.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Superintendent of Schools according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Would you please sign and date your oath of office? Now you have to do my oath.
All right. You have your oath
Yes, I
in
do
front
have,
of you?
I do have my oath.
Mrs. Henner, can you please read your
Yes.
oath as clerk?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of District Clerk according to the best of my ability. So I'm going to sign that. Ms. Leone, would you kindly read your oath aloud?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of business manager according to the best of my ability.
Okay. You could sign your oath, please, and complete your residence. Mrs. Kitchen, will you please read your oath aloud?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Would you please sign your oath and complete your residence? And then Mr. Cianciola, will you please read your oath aloud?
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Board of Education member according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Will you please sign your oath in residence? Appreciate that. You just have to sign the cardstock piece. Okay, thank you. The first item of business tonight is the election of the president of the Board of Education. At this time, I will open the floor for nominations for board president.
I will nominate Mrs. New for president.
Okay. Trustee Niles has nominated Trustee New as board president. Are there any other nominations this evening? Okay. Nominations are now closed. Is there a second for Trustee New as board president?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor for Trustee New as board president?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Yeah.
You abstain? Okay, Trustee New has 6 votes and is elected president to the Board of Education. Thank you. Congratulations, Mrs. New. We will now do the oath of office for the elected president. So, Mrs. New, I will ask you to read your oath aloud.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Well, thank you. If you could please sign your oath and complete your oath. Is there a nomination for the vice president?
I will nominate Lauren Crosby.
Trustee Wood has nominated Trustee Crosby as vice president. Are there any other nominations for vice president this evening? Okay, nominations are now closed. Is there a second for Trustee Crosby as vice president?
I'll second.
All in favor for Trustee Crosby as vice president?
Aye.
Okay. Abstain?
One abstain.
Trustee Crosby has 6 votes and is elected Vice President of the Board of Education. We will now do his oath for elected Vice President. Mr. Crosby, if you could read your oath aloud.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of Vice President of the Board of Education according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. If you could sign and fill in your residence. Thank you. I now have the honor of turning the meeting over to duly elected Board President, Mrs. New.
And according to the agenda, I now appoint trustees, the committees. Finance, I'd like to appoint Kathleen, Scott, and myself, with Kathleen as the lead. Facilities, Lauren, Maureen, and myself. Policy, Lauren, Mark, and Kathleen, with Lauren leading it. Safety, Maureen, Jen, and academics, with Maureen leading that, and academics, Scott, Mark, and Jen, with Scott leading it.
If I might ask, can you repeat that, please?
I can give you this little note.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you.
sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
So should we go on with D, Mr. Pizzetto?
Do we need a motion to accept those appointments?
Do we? Do we need a motion to
I don't
accept?
think you
it?
do.
It doesn't say that you do.
No, okay, I just double checking. I didn't think so, but I will.
Any discussion, any complaints? You don't want to be where you were? D?
Okay, yeah.
Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby make the following 2023-2024 appointments consent agenda for 1 through 22. Now, before that, I should note, before the next agenda item, the amendment needs to be made to D20. As data protection officer, it will be Mike Sales as technology director. Now, do I have to have a motion to do that? Or do I just have to notify Leonard?
Motion for the amendment, yes.
I'll make
Can I
that
have a
motion.
motion for that amendment, please?
Second.
Scott and Maureen. Is there any discussion? You're giving that up, right? Or you're giving it over to Mike?
Yes. Last year.
Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Do I need a second?
I got a second.
Okay.
Scott and Maureen.
Okay.
For
All those
the
in
motion
favor?
as amended, right?
Yes,
Okay.
as amended.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So passed. All right, so consent agenda 1 through 22. May I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Maureen? Any discussion?
It says consent agenda items 1 through 22, but there's 23 items in the list.
Right. We'll go
Okay.
do 23 separately.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
Can I just ask a clarifying question? Because
Sure.
I'm looking at it.
I might not be
So
able
the-
to do it, but go ahead.
The dates say like 7/1/23 to 7/21/23. That's for like this coming month, just so I'm, like, it's not for like to 2024. Okay.
Correct, because there'll be
Yeah.
a new person coming in.
Okay.
That will take over as the
Yeah.
treasurer.
I just wanted to make sure
Right.
I understood.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 23, 30 MHSBI representative and alternate for the 23-24 school year. And I've asked Scott and Maureen if they would share the responsibility and figure out what it is and how involved we want to be, because that's the School Board Institute. Is that agreeable with you two?
Yes.
Good by me.
Not just not
Do
my
I need a
head.
motion for that? Probably, yes.
Audio friendly meeting.
So could I have a motion that will trustee Wood and alternate trustee Blanchard? Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Mark? All those in favor, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Abstain, I guess.
Motion passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the following 2023 and 2024 designations, consent agenda 1 through 15. May I have a motion?
Also move.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? F. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the following consent agenda of 1 through 8, and it is continued onto the next page. May I have a motion?
Also move.
Second?
Second.
Maureen? Any discussion? Can I have a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Routine matters. Acceptance of the Board of Education minutes, June 13th, 2023, 15th, and the 20th, as well as the CSE recommendations. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Think back. Do we have to pass these individually? There's no, because it's not a consent agenda. It's not written that way.
So this is always a bittersweet process. I think when we get to the end of the year, start a new year, when it's time to say goodbye to people who've worked in the district, in some cases for many, many years, and contributed immeasurably to the success of the district. It's also a tough time of the year to get people together. And so we had a number of people who said, I can't be there tonight. There's never a perfect night to recognize people, but I think it's important that we acknowledge their contributions to the district, recognize their years of service in the district, and we leave the door open so that it does meet people's schedule. I think it's important to publicly acknowledge their contributions to the district. So we will do that. So tonight, we'll recognize people who are in attendance with us. Still going to read people's names tonight and acknowledge their years of service, and then when we have them, perhaps at the next board meeting, then we can acknowledge them in person publicly. So, having said that, I want to recognize, again, some people who aren't here as well, and we'll recognize at a later date, with 17 years of service to the district. Our teacher, Lorraine Mosher, is retired, and so, again, we'll I'm sure at another point. But congratulations to her, and thank you for 17 years of service to the district. With 20 years of service to the district, library media specialist Amanda Segroy is also retiring and unable to be with us tonight. So we do have, our next person is here with us, and we're glad that she is, with 21 years of service to the district, is a school monitor. Frances Camp is here with us, so please. Thank you. Congratulations. Very nice.
Just got off the plane at 4:30.
You didn't cut your trip short?
No,
Come back. We feel bad if you did that, but thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And
We
Thank you
appreciate
for all
your
of
time.
that you've done for the district, and wish you well. And don't be a stranger. Thank you. Okay. We also want to acknowledge, we're not here with us, several other people. Sue Doria, with 11 years of service, is a cleaner in the district. Robin Fox, with 27 years of service as a bus driver. And Dolores Antle, with 23 years of service as a teacher aide in the district. So some longtime employees who contributed greatly to the school, so we want to thank them and hopefully catch them in person at a later date. So congratulations to all of them, and thank you. So we have, we have a newer process in the last couple of years. We had the good fortune of having a student board representative. And last year, poor Ryan Mel was our guinea pig, so to speak. He was sort of the pioneer and did a great job and set a high bar. And we were fortunate to have the perfect person to come in and continue that process. And that we had Jen Augustin serve in that role this year. So cannot think of a better representative of the district. Did a great job as a student representative. The board spoke about her service last time at our last meeting. And so I'm very appreciative of what she did and tried to build on that. It's certainly made everybody want to continue it. Nobody's saying let's not have it. That's always a good sign that you did a good job. It's like they want that role to continue. So on behalf of the board and behalf of the school, thanks for the way that you've represented Canastota schools. Congratulations. We know you're going to be super successful at whatever you do, and we want to thank you. And we want to give you a plaque. So please come up here. You have to get a picture, I guess, too. So, thank you. All right.
You go first.
All right, and then finally we have our retiring board members. And I can say from experience, for many years of working as a school administrator and having worked with quite a few board members over the years, that it is without question, and people who served in that role, whether current or former board members will say, until you live it, I'm looking at Mr. Dustin, who's spent a few years on the board, okay? Until you've lived it, until you've had to sit in that role, it is a tough job. And you don't get a big paycheck, and you don't get a lot of pats on the back, but it's about doing something that's great for the community. And so I really admire people who put in really what is an incredible amount of time. I think the other thing people don't realize is it's a huge time investment. The number of times, as I'm looking at Bill and Wes, the number of nights that they gave up working on district's business, whether it was navigating through COVID, which in and of itself was a monumental task because you're still trying to get the district to do things that are about school if you're navigating through these curveballs. Hours and hours of wrestling with things and making sure that we're trying to implement things in the correct way. And that goes unnoticed, but I certainly noticed it. I know colleagues notice it when they're spending that time, and it's very appreciated. Capital projects, and when I look at Bill and Wes, and I think of the million hours probably over the last few years that was spent developing the capital project, presenting it to the public, working through all those committee meetings, incredible amount of time and investment. So, but time is a part of it. The other part is, are you bringing something of value to that process? And I can say, again, I don't say these words lightly. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of good people over the years. I've never worked with more knowledgeable, more dedicated, or more honest board members than Bill and Wes. It's been a real privilege to work with both of them I've learned a lot from working with them. I admire the way that they conduct their business. I admire the way that it was always about kids, and it wasn't about doing what was easy. It was about doing what we knew we could defend and was right. And there's a real value to that, and it's very much appreciated. So on behalf of the school, certainly on behalf of myself, I want to thank you both for everything you've done. We want to continue to use your expertise, because there's a lot of institutional knowledge sitting there about how this place runs and what's important to this community. So I want to thank you both. I guess we'll give you your plaques one at a time. It was hard for me to talk individually about them, because they've been linked to so many things. When you think of our work on the facilities committee and the finance committee, so they're a good team, and but we'll give them one at a time, so we don't have to cram too many of us in one picture. So, hey, and you're pointing at each other of who's going first. Technically on the list, if we're going by seniority and longevity, Bill, I think you're first, because
Seniority and longevity is Wes.
well, he's the longest. He's the longest, so he's the. I'm going off of what the boss put on the paper for me. Tammy put on the paper. Thank you.
Come here, Debbie. Debbie got me involved with this to start with. Okay, you got me involved. All right, here, whatever side you want.
You're in the middle.
Mel does a spin. Mel does a spin.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't want to have to say all that stuff again. So I'll spare everybody from me talking more, but I'll mess up here. And again, I didn't say the years. Bill was 7 years of service as a board member of the district, and Wes completed 9 years on the school board. So,
Oh.
I guess see where we got here.
Make sure. Are you out?
We're all standing on the same sides.
Thank you. All right, congratulations, everybody, and again, we want people to come back and don't be strangers, and look forward to recognizing our retirees who couldn't be here with us tonight. So, thank you.
Moving on to new business. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the health and welfare service with East Syracuse Manoa Central School District for the 2022-23 school year. Motion?
24.
Is it, that's not the correct date,
That's for
correct?
the past year?
Is that for the past year or this year?
It is for the 22-23 school year.
Is that,
We just got it, yes.
okay,
So that is
It
the correct one.
It's
Yep.
for the past year.
for the past year.
Good.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? So you just heard Tracy say that we just got the,
Yeah, I think it sounded like, excuse me, it said that in the agreement, they were gonna wait until June to see what the exact dollar amount was, and then they would send a bill after June.
Yeah,
So it sounded like they just plugged the dollar amount in.
So these are students, these are Canastota residents that go to school elsewhere, and we are required to pay for the health services. Most schools will send them as they register, so sometimes we'll see them in September. But again, here's one that came through from ESF that is for this past year that we just got.
anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the first reading of the district-wide safety plan for 2023-24.
And just a quick comment on this, we just wanted to give you a little overview of what this is going to look like, because there is a 30-day window and some time parameters that are going to unfold over the course of the summer, so I'll ask Ms. Leone to update us on it.
So the district-wide safety plan is required to be a public document, different than the building level plans. Building level plans are confidential and are not shared with the public. We do review this as part of the safety committee. We have updated our document in accordance with the changes made by SED. So 2 new items that are in the district-wide document now include our remote instruction plan and include the agreement with any SROs that are on file as of 6/30. So you'll see in our document that it does reference, and it is correct, it references the 22-23 school year. We don't currently have an updated agreement for SRO services going forward. So we are required to put the most current document that we have. This will go live on the website tomorrow. It is open for 30-day public comment. It will identify where comments will come to. We'll come back to the board at the August meeting. Any public comments will be reviewed, consideration will be taken if necessary, and then the board will adopt the second reading, at which time, prior to September 1st, we will submit to SED. This document does need to be submitted to SED.
Any other questions? I think I need a motion. Yes? Motion?
Lauren
Oh, you have-
made the motion and I seconded that thought. Ms.
I
Woodward?
just said that for the health, I didn't hear a motion because.
Yeah, that was on the health one, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Bissetta wanted to update on what it was.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, see.
I'll second it.
I'll motion.
Okay then.
We have a second?
Scott
Scott.
seconded.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the 2023-2024 agreement with Celebration Children's Center. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolved, passed. Number 4, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the 2023-2024 CTE classroom and pre-K classroom lease agreements with Madison and Ida BOE. Motion?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Those have to do with pre-K and with Jake Smith, right?
Yeah, the CTE, and those are, we'll have 2 levels, one taught by John Slater, one taught by Jake Smith, and then one taught by Sarah Sullivan, which is the exercise science program. So there'll be 3. So there's always an arrangement with BOCES because it's technically a BOCE CTE program, even though it's on-site housed here. There's a rental or a lease agreement.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the memorandum of understanding, or the MOU, with the Canastota Administrators Association, CAA, regarding summer hours. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the service agreement with Susan Leonard, LPN, effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
Just a quick comment on this, a clarification. Maureen had brought up this question before. It reads, the resolution reads correctly with the dates of 23, 24. However, the backup document that you have, there needed to be under item number 6 and 7. And for this resolution, the date needed to be updated to 23, 24. So the backup document needs to reflect what was on that, on the resolution, and Tracy has already made that adjustment, so just wanted to know that that backup document was not matching.
Anything else? All those in favor?
We
Oh,
never
they didn't get
took
a
a motion, yeah. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then 7, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby approve the service agreement with Lindsay Hyla, LPN, effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Committee reports. Well, I don't think there are any committee reports except my own, and that dates back to June 1st, because I didn't give it at our last board meeting, which was the safety committee. We met on June 1st at 2:20, and we were a Zoom meeting. And generally, I think I've said this before, but generally, because it's a Zoom meeting, we generally have somewhere between 10 and 20 people in attendance. And generally, Jack, our representative from BOCES, and our safety coordinator is there on too. But the fire inspection was completed in May. If there were any issues, they were minor, they will be corrected, and the report will be submitted to the state by June 30th. Obviously, it's already been submitted. Capital project, Sean and Tracy reported some things yet to complete. Robert Street, 626 will be restarted and completed. Projects take a long time. 4 years ago, it all began. And then we're obviously looking at a new project and looking at some of those issues that were identified that were not addressed in the last project. And workplace safety and traffic patterns, that was one thing that had been identified. Then we talked about emergency response, and Meg Ryan, one of our nurses, talked about the fact that she had sent out a survey asking staff members about CPR, AED, and stop the bleed possibilities. And she'd gotten 49 responses. And again, different kinds of responses. But one of the things that she came back to us was, and because again, I think people were maybe unaware or maybe didn't know what this all involved before they volunteered for emergency response, and what Meg wanted to assure them was the primary responsibility is left with the nurse. But there are other building needs. In other words, somebody's got to keep accurate records. Phone calls may have to be made, runners needed. And so what Meg Ryan sort of told us was that she was hoping that she would get more people involved when they learned what the responsibilities might be as far as, an emergency within the building. She also, wanted, was willing to looking towards glass for CPR and AED certification and that kind of thing. Work with you all. So I think we'll hear more from Meg come maybe August and starting the new year. We did talk about the district-wide safety plan that Tracy just talked about, and updating it. And again, I think one of the important things that was brought up there was, and Tracy mentioned it, is that now included in that district-wide safety plan, we need to include the instructional plan. In other words, with what happened with COVID, what happened with air quality or whatever, we need to have those things spelled out, what happens if we have to, return to remote learning or whatever. So that has to be included now into the safety plan. It was brought up, you want to talk a little bit about what we brought from BOCES and about the Nida Herkimer in that safety management program. You want to?
Sure. So as part of our eye on safety, not only safety, but professional development, resources to all of our staff, from monitors, bus drivers, teachers, students. We've made a shift to the OHM program, safety program. The program that they house is a holistic program. So there's about 7 or 9 individuals. So it's a team of people that are specialized in specific areas, specialized in gossip, specialized in bullying, specialized in forklift training, specialized in sexual harassment, specialized in topics that either were required by law to provide training to staff members and/or students. And again, and specific to, there are some student trainings that some of their staff are certified in. So circle time, working with our counselors, working with Connected. It's a very holistic program. I will say I worked with them for many, many years, and basically they become our point. So if it's an emergency issue, if it's a safety issue, I mean, as far as bed bugs, you know what I mean? It could be anything. Our point of contact, the resources that are available through them are just astounding. So I think that what we're going to see is just a great benefit to the district. Patty Serio was on site a week ago. Her and I walked through the buildings. We met the principals. She actually is an alumni of Canastota, so as we were
Yes,
going
our
through the
Patty
halls,
Serio.
she had stopped and chatted with some of the teachers that were in the hallway as we were walking through. She'll be working with the chem labs over the summer to make sure that our hygiene, disposal, in chemical, inventory. So again, it's a very, very holistic program. So I think we'll see some great stuff, and they're always willing to come and share with the board, share different services. So I think, like I said, they'll be part of the safety plan. Patty will actually take over the meetings and do the minutes. It's hard to participate and do the minutes at the same time. So
Super.
yeah.
That might make your life a little easier. More easy.
Yeah.
So you'll get the minutes. There you go, Lori.
As I was trying to read my chicken scratch from the last meeting.
So that was, that was the end of our meeting, but I thought it was, again, a very, very good meeting. So now where do I go? Okay.
Board comment.
Board comment. Does anybody have a board comment?
I'll just say thanks to all those retirees and former trustees. I think that was quick math, well over 100 years of service to a lot of knowledge we're losing in the district. So best of luck to you in your future endeavors. You all have been a huge resource to us, and you'll be greatly missed.
Anyone else? Sean?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank really everybody, which is including staff members, families, students, everybody who played a role in what I think was a nice ending to the school year. There are a lot of things happening. Obviously, the big event is graduation, and this was different. And we've experienced a few different things in the last few years, some by necessity because of COVID, some by, construction has implications. There's a lot of things. But thanks to the work and contributions of a lot of people, I think we were able to have graduation in a setting that wasn't the normal setting, but I think it worked with minimal disruption. So I want to congratulate Mr. Schultz at his first year at the helm of the high school and his team, and certainly Jake Smith and Jen Kurak, because I think they did a really great job as advisors, sort of leading us through that process and coming up with some answers to some issues that we hadn't really had to deal with. And you always hold your breath, as we had when we were at the Hall of Fame, as we had in the auditorium. It's just different. It's not like you can rely on habit or certain patterns or things that have always happened. It's different. So thanks to everybody for making it work. Having said that, we want to keep improving. And so when it was fresh in our minds, we wanted to note some of the things that, and already have done that, and conversations about what could added wrinkles be, or things that could, really smooth things out moving forward. But graduation, well, that's the sort of the headliner. We had a lot of other great events at the end of the year, so thanks and congratulations to people who were involved, for example, with our kindergarten graduation, our 6th grade moving up ceremony. Those are all nice events, and certainly a million other events that are sort of the capstone events of the school year. So it doesn't happen without the contributions of a lot of people. Also want to thank, certainly want to thank Nick Campbell and his crew, because they had to do things, again, that were very out of the ordinary and quickly. So great job. So now I'll talk about one of my favorite subjects, food. So we have the Raider Barbecue. Last year was the first annual. This is the second year we're going to do our school community barbecue. We had over 600 people attend last year. It was a great event, sponsored by our Parent Advisory Council in conjunction with Connected Community Schools. And certainly we appreciate the work that Connected Community Schools has brought, because this is one of the areas where when you look at what is the impact of having community schools in our school district, this is one of them. It gives us the ability to bring together the community for a real positive event. It is, for those of you who attended last year, it's not a real structured thing. You don't have to worry. I'm not giving a speech or anything like that, so we'll spare people the pain of going through that. It's a chance to get together more informally, but we are adding some pieces to it so that you highlight some things related to the school or opportunities for kids or families. So it's a place to get some information, to make some connections. We use it as a recruiting event because we ended up hiring Mr. Cashel as a result of his participation as you were a, what am I trying to say? You had a display.
Great guy.
I brought an ambulance.
Right. Brought an ambulance. So again, August 10th. Again, we tried to keep it. It seemed to work last year, so it's August 10th again, and we'll still be finalizing details, and there'll be more information coming out and sort of just publicizing that date for a positive community event. So another update, we've been talking about this in recent weeks. You can't turn on the TV without hearing more about the mascot or school logo issue. Some districts have handled it in different ways. We've intentionally tried to be very methodical and see how things sort of sift out. Our BOCES superintendent, Scott Boodleman, has updated us with information coming directly from state ed and based on his interactions with state ed and the leadership, so that we're moving forward in a way that's that just makes sense and is respectful to the process. So this month we're going to be getting more specific information out to the school community regarding process and timeline of what this can and will look like over the coming months. It's confusing in that we needed to take action, as the board did before June 30th, saying that we would comply with what we needed to comply with, but the adjustment has to happen over time. To do it justice, it needs to happen over time. And so there's really a 2-year window that the state has allowed for districts to move through. So our intention is to get information out that will look at what is the public comment opportunity going to be, what is going to be the nature of our advisory committee or steering committee of people who will be the the receivers of that feedback, and trying to make sense of that feedback that we're receiving, and then getting that back out, information back out to the community. So it's not a couple of day process. I mean, we'll be dealing with this for weeks and months, really, with the idea that we're going to do it the right way, have good and adequate feedback, and be able to make good decisions. So more to come on that. We wanted to make sure we were able to get the year completed and get our end-of-year events taken care of, and now it's really time for us to kick into gear with this process and to deal with this issue. Want to welcome our new Southside principal, Emily Nugent. So she's not here with us tonight. She's actually started with the district. We were in meetings with her today. She was able to get in last week as well to start getting everything squared away. So I think she's going to be a great addition to our staff, and we're looking forward to working with her, looking forward to utilizing the skills and background experience that she has in coming to this position. So talk to her some more today about, because it's nice that she's here now and that she has the benefit of July and August to get fully prepared for the students and staff, but we wanted to do some type of reception for her, for people who are able to attend in the summer. There'll be time to do some of the more formal things in the beginning of year things, but for people who want to just stop in, whether it's staff or families or whoever, to just stop in and introduce themselves, we wanted to have an opportunity for that. So we're going to provide a date, sort of a window of time where people could stop in, meet with her, have some refreshments, that type of thing, if that works with their schedule. And of course, beyond that, there'll be a lot of opportunities to get to know her better. So that we're just trying to firm up that. That'll probably be publicized within the next couple of days, the date of that and time of that reception. And then finally, just with an eye towards what's to come this year as we wrap things up and have an eye towards the future, we're looking at some of the agenda items tonight. Certainly one of the most important things we do is bring things that are relevant to the school community, bring relevant learning to kids. So we talked about some of the new CTE programs, for example, that we're the regional host site for. That's nice in that our kids can participate in a regionally recognized program, but they can do it right here on site. And so that's expanded. Jake Smith did a great job with the first year of introducing that sports management program, and now we have year 2. It's being introduced for students. Sarah Sullivan will be piloting the exercise science program this year, and again, we're looking forward to that. But beyond that, those are formal, structured programs. But Liz Garofalo is going to be at our August board meeting, going to be giving an update and a sort of a recap of the 22-23 school year, as she did last year, to talk about what were things, what areas students receive badges and credentials in that are recognized either internally by their teachers, staff members, or recognized by external organizations, businesses, community organizations. That is really expanding, and we're looking forward to it. When we look at the last year, some of the new partnerships that emerged, for example, the partnership with Glass and having, probably close to a dozen, I think, students who are now in some way involved with that pipeline program that is essential for community sustainability. The new work with the Syracuse Crunch, that was a great experience for a lot of kids. Again, learning in context, real-world skills, marketing, business, any number of aspects of real-world experiences. We're just scratching the surface. So our commitment is to continue those types of programs, and we want to really continue to explore partnerships with local and regional organizations that will say, yes, we acknowledge this type of learning, and this is important, and that can mean something. Earning a credential is something that is not, we don't want this ever to be a frivolous thing. We want this to be something that's substantial and meaningful, and that's meaningful to the partners who have acknowledged our students' work. Nobody can ever say that that's not relevant learning. So we'll build our foundation, we'll continue to focus on our foundation, but we'll continue to try to see the connections between the real world and what's happening so that we're sustainable over time. So we look forward to Liz's report next month, take a look back at the year that was, and then what are our next steps and what are the next partnerships or enhancements to some of the partnerships that we've been engaged with. So that's what I have tonight.
Thank you. Personnel recommendations, all appointments are pending clearance on fingerprinting, resignations and retirements. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Brianna Holloman's letter of resignation as a permanent food service helper effective June 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Motion? Got second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby accept Pamela Palmieri's letter of resignation as a cleaner effective July 14th, 2023. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
No discussions. Appointments.
No discussion?
They're personnel.
Oh.
No discussion on personnel.
Sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Permanent appointments. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Bethany Smith as a permanent bus driver at $24.64 an hour for 5.25 hours per day with a one-year probationary period effective July 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Brianna Holloman as a permanent bus attendant at $16.73 an hour for 4.75 hours per day with a one-year probationary period effective July 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Motion? Scott, second. Maureen? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Substitute appointments. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint the following summer help, Monday through Thursday, 5 hours a day at $14.20 an hour, effective July 6, 2023. Building cleaners. Hayden Marr, Timothy Collins, Gavin Kimball, and Grace Roydhouse. Bus cleaning. Benjamin Sadowski, Dominic DiMarzio, Thomas Glasgow, Elizabeth Watson, and Misty Sullivan. IT department, Gabrielle Tyler and Alexander Nadro. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Other, resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Peter Schultz as the K-12 coordinator of diversity, equity, inclusion, and SEL with an $8,000 stipend effective September 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the board does hereby appoint Maureen Gray as special education consultant effective July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024 at a daily rate of $650. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. This is the public comment period. Does anybody have a public comment? Say what?
No one has submitted a request.
I'm willing to entertain, but I don't think there's anybody that wants to speak. Future dates. August 8th is the regular board meeting currently planned for 6:30. Don't forget the barbecue. That will be obviously Thursday, August 10th. And we do not have an executive session, although it's on the agenda. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we are adjourned, and I thank you, and I thank those.
That adjournment, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good thing.